Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've been here with a new video for you, and I do apologize about that. Work here at the Moon, at the Wild Rose Moon in Plymouth, Indiana, has picked up. We've been doing some more concerts, open mics, things like that. As always, check them out online, wildrosemoon.com, if you're not familiar with the venue, because it's a great place. I'm really thrilled to be a part of it. So I've been busy here. I've also done something really important for these videos, which is upgraded and improved the equipment that I'm using. So I finally, after almost a decade of using the same MacBook, I finally have a new MacBook, which is going to help out tremendously. I have a microphone for my camera, so hopefully, as long as I can figure out and learn how to use these tools and get the most out of them, you will notice an improvement to the video quality. Also, something that has just simply been taking my time because I just focused on it so much is thinking back and reminiscing about my travels in Czechia this summer. That was just such a profound trip that I'm still thinking about it on a daily basis, and it's been so much on my mind that I just have to turn that into a creative force and make a couple of videos about it. So you'll see how that manifests itself in today's video in just a second. But I do expect to have a couple more videos about Czechia coming up soon. Mostly music, of course, because that's what we're doing here on this channel, but maybe some travel tips and some must-see places and things like that, some tips I can share from my travels. So if you would be interested in that, as well as just the musical aspect, let me know. Maybe you too are interested in traveling to Czechia. I hope you are. But let's get into this. We're going to talk about a few things today. You'll see in just a second. So I also do another topic on this channel. I did it last year at the very end of the year, and then I did it already once this year, and I'm going to do it again at the end of this year. And those videos are about the top releases, my favorite releases. I shouldn't say top. My favorite releases of 2020 I did last year. Favorite releases of 2021 this year. I did get some criticism for calling it, I think in one place they called it the best releases. And you know what? They're the best for me. They may not be the best for you, and certainly that's a very subjective approach, but I will now be very careful and say these are my favorite releases of the year. I already did one this year. I'm going to have a whole bunch to do next month, but I wanted to focus on two albums that are, one's already out right now, and the other one will be coming out in I think about 2 weeks from the time that you see this video. And they both tie into the topic that's ever present on my mind, Czechia, because both of these albums feature Czech composers. So I'm so excited to see new releases featuring Czech music. So let's take a look at what those two records are. So surprise, surprise, they are both on my favorite iconic record label, ECM Records. The first one we're going to take a look at, the one that's already out that I have the hard copy of, is the debut, the ECM debut of the Parker Quartet, and this one's also along with ECM veteran Kim Kashkashian on viola. So they have a Dvorak piece on here, a string quintet by Dvorak. It is absolutely incredible, and it's sandwiched in between two compositions by my favorite composer, or one of my favorite composers, György Kurtag. So as soon as I saw Kurtag, I instantly had to get this CD. I was very excited for Kurtag. Then I looked and said, wait, Dvorak, that's a Czech composer, so now I get to have some Czech music on here too. So I want to talk just about, I made a separate video about this because I just want to share kind of my personal experience with this music, and I wanted to offer some recommendations about it in relation to being in Czechia itself. So when I got to Czechia, I must admit that their famous composers weren't really composers that I have spent a lot of time listening to. And I'll openly admit that. I'm embarrassed to say so, but I've spent all these years listening to John Cage and Morton Feldman and all the fringe stuff, and I have spent very little time listening to the classics, including such prominent composers as Dvorak, etc. I kind of wish, and this is where my recommendation is, if you are going to visit Czechia for the first time, I think, and you're a musician or a fan of music, I think that you should have a better familiarity with their famous composers before going than what I did. I knew, of course, of them, but it certainly wasn't music that I had could hum or recall in my ear at any time. But after listening, so even though I didn't have a working knowledge of them going into the country, after being there, being on the ground, seeing the sites, some of these same buildings are still there from that era. A lot of them, seeing this landscape, just being in that environment, that culture, and then coming back and listening to this after experiencing all that, I think I actually appreciated it a lot more than not having been in Czechia. Maybe it's all just a figment of my imagination, I don't know. But I really think that just being there, seeing how much the Czech people love these composers, love their own composers, and then going back and listening to this, just really connected it in a way much bigger than just getting the CD and saying, okay, I'm going to expose myself to a new composer. That would have worked too, but it was just such a deep connection to trying to just put it all together, being in the place that they were at, listening to this music, learning about it. So now, the liner notes on this are extensive as usual. Thank you, ECM. Beautiful liner notes on this copy. So that's another bonus there. But now I can absolutely say that not only do I love, the Quartet pieces on this, I also genuinely love the Dvorak quintet piece. So this is definitely one of the highlights of this year for me. All right, so now let's take a look at the next record that's out on ECM. This time it's another addition to their collection of albums featuring Janacek. So let's take a look at this. This one, like I said, isn't out yet. There is a single out, so that's what I have to go from. But let's put up the cover album and we'll take a look at that, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this record. This will be an exciting release to hear because it's the first time we're hearing an orchestral arrangement of a piano cycle by Janacek. This recording, although only listing Janacek's name on the cover, is actually, that's not the only name that's on this record. That's the only one you see just on the front. But it actually includes a few other people, and it's introducing me to many new names. First is the performer and arranger, Kamarata Dvorak and Daniel Rumler, respectively. Next, although not listed on the cover, the album features two other Czech composers. We have Dvorak and an entirely new name to me, Josef Suk. I am really excited to hear this full recording. Can't wait for it to come out so I can finally hear these words. I'm really excited about that. This is the second album, it's the third album of an entirely Czech lineup, if you include the Janacek album by Sir Andras Schiff. But the other one that comes to mind is the choral music that's seen here. Also, this is by my count the fifth ECM release to feature Janacek, so they're really giving him some love, and that's no problem with me. We have the aforementioned choral album. There's also a string quartet of his on a Lachenhaus album, and then there's a full album, like I mentioned, by Sir Schiff, and a spot on this incredible record here, along two other iconic composers, Berg and Liszt. I'll give you one guess which is my favorite composer on that whole thing. I bet you probably know. Well, thank you so much for watching. We are going to have some more videos coming up really soon with some more exciting music, topics about Czechia, Czech music, Czech musicians, and of course the year-end review. So stick around and who knows what will be in between. Maybe some surprises for you. Thank you so much for watching.